I dosed at like 30 minutes ago, so at 11:20. It's hitting me really hard already. I did not expect it to hit that hard, and so like I hadn't done my makeup. I've never done something like this where I've made like this kind of video tripping before. I don't know if the makeup looks good. I think it looks like passable. It's also like so weird looking at yourself when you're tripping. So yeah, I'm like, I hate the come up because I'm like so jittery and I'm like so anxious. I think I took like 100 micrograms, but I haven't tripped in like 3 months, so I think that's why it's also like hitting me so hard. Tolerance and the magic and all that. Let me finish this up and then we'll continue. So this is hitting me really hard. Now I'm just trying to like calm down. I tripped on acid Labor Day weekend when I first moved here in 2017. So doing a trip on Labor Day weekend is kind of like a thing. I don't think I do it every year. It seems like an appropriate time to do it and to think about my life the past 3 years living here in New York. I'm going to be taking the same route I did with that trip as well. So I'm gonna go to Central Park and then down Fifth Avenue to Bryant Park and then back home. I want to think about some things like my body image, for instance, has been pretty low lately. I've been trying to lose weight and stuff, but I think I might be developing an unhealthy relationship with food. Why am I unhappy with myself? And it's not just my weight, but also my hair loss. This is like a wig, and I think my real hair is not, you wouldn't be able to tell really that there was hair loss, but I think it is happening. Think about things like that, getting older and all of that stuff. I can see my hands, I can see the patterns start to form on them, and my rug too. You can see. I just moved here like in June, or not June, July. So I've never tripped in this apartment before, so it's like a new territory as well. Also, I'm sorry that this will be a vertical video. I could do this way, but it feels more unnatural to me. Like this, I feel like maybe I'm FaceTiming someone. I'm so cold in here, and I put this sweatshirt on. I think I'm feeling anxious about wearing this wig outside because it's so like, you know, it's not a natural hair color, and so it brings attention to myself. And it's like, the reason why I wear this wig in these videos is also because, I don't know, it's like a mask in a way. I just feel like I'm not really myself right now, so I think that's also why I'm nervous about going outside. And I feel like hiding in this sweatshirt. I'm so cold right now and I just want to cuddle in this. Kind of glad with COVID, because then if I wear this mask, it makes me feel more hidden, I guess. I'm wondering if I wear sunglasses, if this would look very ridiculous at that point. Maybe I shouldn't wear sunglasses, but I do want to wear sunglasses to hide. I just feel like warm and cold, but I still feel like being watched. Not like by people who aren't there, but I guess so this wig, I'm just extra self-conscious. I think I'll get over it though. The ground is like, there's just a lot of patterns, and it seems like multi-level too. The ground is crazy for me right now. Columbus Circle. I'm just thinking about Cloverfield, which I watched recently. Following this couple for a bit. They were kind of following me. Oh boy, he just spit, but I think I'd like that when I'm older. When I first went here, I didn't have a map or anything, so I always try to follow the same route. I'm gonna see if I can remember it. So, one thing I noticed living here now for 3 years, I guess certain spots I still have certain memories at now, which before they all looked the same, but now I'm like, oh yeah, isn't that where so-and-so happened? I think I normally come from that side and come down here. No, that's not the original carousel, but I like it because of Catcher in the Rye, which I feel like I should reread again. Probably would think of it differently now as a 25-year-old than I did when I was like 15 at the march. And I'm feeling more, I guess, not mentally, but physically, like, it's pretty intense. But mentally, I feel like I still have a clear headspace. This just feels like a church to me, and you know, with the arches, but they're just trees now. I'm just watching the sky make bubbles, and I'm like, why did I do this? Definitely feel it, because it's my ego that wants it to. That's why it's filming and putting on this freaking wig and everything. It's like how strong the ego is, but then I'm supposed to capture it, but I can't without being inherently egotistical. My tolerance was reset, but 3 months, magic, still not for me, I think. Yeah, still gone. Things look interesting, but it's not like beautiful necessarily. So hard to get a moment in private here. New York, there's hella people. This trip, I've been super, self-conscious about how people see me, how I perceive myself. That probably goes into me struggling with my body image. My eyes just stare at anything. I'm like, oh shit, I can't stare for that long. The sense I'm getting from this trip is like trying too hard, but like not in the good way, trying. In a bad way, trying too hard. The concept of a vlog is so weird to me. I just feel this tension. I feel like when actually I'm in this state and I feel like I need to keep like saying how I feel, whereas it's just so easy to just like let go and just enjoy the moment. Then you forget. A vlog is just like weird because it's like you want to document things, but so self-centered at the same time. But I guess it's easier to follow a story, if that makes sense. But yeah, documenting this while in this state is just so hard because you just want to like experience life, but then you feel forced to describe how it is, but then future you would appreciate it. I forgot my train of thought. I'm also thinking about how creating things in general is like, it's fun, but it's not fun. And it's like whatever you produce is like, I guess that's you. But when I look at myself back in like 2012, I don't remember anything except the content that I produced. But creating that content is like painful because it's like if you're being honest about it, it's painful. It's just constant like self-analyzing, and oh man, it's like I had to interact with people to buy this water, but this is nice to look at. Interesting because these like public displays of affection is like super public, but it's so nice too. Look at the same time, I guess, to look at loving oneself. Yeah, normally it's a good idea to have water readily at hand when tripping. I love bubbles. It is gonna make really nice photos, and I think that's important. Not to judge people for this stuff. Just want to remember, but it's something I judge myself harshly on as well. I have to just accept that I want to be remembered, and that's why I do this. And that's why anyone does anything really. But I've been super into history lately. It was so sad to me how there were no records passed, or not a lot of records past a certain time, so no one really knew what was going on. then, and then all of a sudden people started recording things. Now people think it's like over recording, maybe. Will all this be forgotten? Maybe some like Cloverfield alien will come and then destroy all the data. And everything will have to be. There was a period in history where it was like they just heard nothing for a while, and that's where I think stories of like Jesus and shit started. Anything would happen that we lost all this information we made. It's like humans just trying to save as much information as possible, just to remember instead of just living. But it's so nice to remember as well. And that's, I guess, the universe just experiencing itself. Yesterday I was at the aquarium, and then I took a video of a jellyfish, and I was like, I appreciate this later. And it's like, now I can look at a jellyfish being here on my phone. I could just look at a jellyfish. Or learning about history is like a way of learning about yourself and why are we the way we are. Yeah, I was watching this old video diary of myself from 3 years ago and comparing how I look now to then and how different. I guess I was looking at my skinniness. Yeah, but also just being, my hair. I paid attention to that too. They change so subtly. It's kind of weird. I have to go back and edit all this. People are just singing out of nowhere here. Hard to tell with the mask. 2 p.m. now, the end of the come up, I'd say. Maybe because filming it takes me out of the moment, but just not as insightful as I would hope. It's just me being existential, and it's a lot of things that I already went through before, like how humans just want to be remembered and just accepting that. And maybe it's like one of those times where it's like I understood the message, so when I keep getting the message, I'm like, it's not as beautiful, as when you first hear it. I'm so afraid of cockroaches here falling on me. It's like, you had a lot of fun, and you wake up one day and you're like, what the fuck just happened? Maybe you just gained a lot of weight, or maybe years just flew by and you had no idea. And it's like that balance there is really hard. It's hard to figure out. Man, I just got hella startled by a squirrel and now I'm embarrassed. I think I just went circles around that guy trying to avoid him. More nature, I guess. I feel like it's the same squirrel that's like terrorizing me. I feel like the trees are like beckoning to me. You see the way the sunlight filters? It's really nice. I don't think this will capture it very well. It's like, I see live rats, and I see dead rats here. My point was, I don't even remember if I had an original point. I can see the appeal of doing it with people for the first time too, because just like, for instance, when you move to New York for the first time, it's like you're just hit by all these different things and so expensive and how many people there are and everything, and then over time you like get used to it and then it's like whatever. But then when you have new people visit, then it's like, oh shoot, I forgot about how cool that must look, or yeah, that could be a nice picture, things like that. So I think that's why I like doing it with people for their first times, not just to help them do it like, safe and respectful and responsible and all that, but also like it's just funner for me. It's like I don't notice these things anymore. I haven't gotten run over yet today. Normally I try to hit the carousel, then Sheep's Meadow, the March, then Bethesda, Bow Bridge, into the Ramble. After that, I just try to get to Fifth Avenue. And pausing and starting the same song, I realized for a long time. I don't know when I started listening to this song.
sometimes like when I think about this person, it's like, I can't believe they were ever in my life. Like they seem like such a stranger, and then sometimes you listen to songs and you're like, oh yeah, I was really thinking about that at some point in my life. I don't know, listening to old songs for other trips, it's like a nice way to time travel. Every time I'm at the park on acid, I'm like, I wonder how many of these people are also on acid. Oh my god, I've been following the same girl. Like somehow, me and that girl diverged a while ago, and then just diverged again. It's like interesting metaphor if you want to go that far. You know what I put on my trip playlist? I put The Climb, Miley Cyrus. Yeah, I was in a Hannah Montana phase recently, and then watched the Hannah Montana movie, and I was like, maybe with this wig stuff too, there's some subconscious thing going on, but hearing the song, and I hated this song when it first came out, because I thought it was so cliche and everything, and it wasn't very catchy to me, but then I listened to The Climb this year, and I was like, damn, that's a good message. I was like, did Miley know? And I just went in a Miley thought loop where I was like, did Miley understand fully what she was saying here? I don't know how old she was when she made this, 15 or 18. She'd go through that much that it's like, could someone else write this song? Or, you know, because for me, this song is like, wow, it's a great song. But then you start questioning the source of it. I guess that's why music that's like closer to the source and, you know, who wrote it and stuff, that it means more than if someone else wrote it. If we're your relationship to them, you don't necessarily, it doesn't mean that the song itself is worse, you know, because I found this song very nice and motivational right now. Does Miley Cyrus listen to this? And then she's like, how does it make her feel to listen to something like The Climb when she's going through hardship? Like, is she like, oh yeah, I remember, I need to persevere? Or she's just like, that was bullshit. We follow celebrities and their lives, and I was thinking about how I've been following Miley Cyrus for all these years, and it's like, why do we follow these people? And I guess it's like the things that they create, right? It's like, but it's a lot of work to put into creating. I just went into a rabbit hole of like actors and celebrities and who we remember and why do we remember them. Am I trying to, it's like my ego fighting again. Am I trying to be a celebrity, or am I doing it because I really want to? Tripping has given me a greater sense though when I'm sober, and then there's like something, a memory or a piece of music or something that really stands out to me, and then I just like put more attention to remember it and appreciate it. I don't need drugs for that, but I appreciate how the drugs taught me to do that. It sounds so like Christian and innocent, being like high on life, but oh my god, it's such a thing. You know, I love drugs, but being high sober is underrated as well. This was my next landmark. Yeah, I just remember stumbling out here. My first trip here, and next destination. It's interesting because I didn't really have destinations necessarily. I would just wander around and walk around, but now I have like a path, and it's like, and for memories or something like that, I follow the same path, but I can see how over time, like, you keep following the same paths over and over, and then there's so much left to explore, if that makes sense. I guess I'm thinking about New York's street system is like a brain to me, and I'm just saying how, you know, I'm comfortable with my familiar ways of networks and paths of getting places, but it's like when you wander around and you discover new places, that's like really important too, and that's what Psychedelics helps, is to help you explore. But anyway, I was just acknowledging that I'm kind of following a path because of that. It's more like for old time's sake. Oh God, I don't know. It's like you also want to follow the same path, because then if you can compare how you thought to how you used to think, and then that difference there is learning and growth, which is also really important. You have to like keep exploring new things, but you also have to keep solidifying things in your head too. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Oh my God, it's such a fucking hard way to say it. COVID changed things. And it's like, you wouldn't expect that in 2017, but the world now is just like, everyone's wearing masks. It makes you think, what could happen in 3 years? It really doesn't help I've been watching these like Cloverfield movies. I appreciate about New York is that during the pandemic it was so dead out here and everything was boarded up, but now it's like there's hella people and it's lively. I love how New York usually can bounce back like that. Theory that I don't really have a point to saying it, but I think it's interesting, and sometimes I relate it now to things, but it's the paper towel theory. So it's the idea that like when, I guess I read about this first when about losing weight, but it's like when you use the first few sheets of the paper towel, you like, or maybe toilet paper, but you don't realize that you use them until it's like the last ones, and then you really notice it. You just don't notice things when you have a lot of it, and then when you start having less, you start to notice it more. Now I'm listening to Cause I'm a Man by Tim Impala. I'm listening to that while walking down the street. It's just like, makes me feel so alive. It's just like maybe it's very cinematic in my head. Definitely more cinematic in my head than it actually is. I was just thinking how yeah, Tim Impala current's so, nostalgic for me now, but at some point it wasn't nostalgic and I didn't like it that much. And then it grew on me, and I feel like all this new music is like, sometimes I don't understand it or necessarily like it, but somehow it fucking grows on me. And then makes memories, and then I associate things to them and feelings and all that crap. So anyway, I start to like them. It's like one thing I guess about tripping in New York City that might deter people is like, what about the homeless people and the people who are begging for money and stuff? It's definitely hard, and something when I first moved here, after I tripped here, and I was like, my thought was, whatever is compelling someone so much that they would risk like shaming themselves and everything and admitting failure in a way, that I should help them if they've gone to that point. 'Cause I've never been in that stage. Then, I don't know, once in a while I would help everyone I would see, and then someone would not take it so kind or not be so gracious about it, so I kind of just avoided it all in general, which is sad that because of some few actions, there are people who are actually in need, and then God, it's like, yeah, anyway, it's like a hard thing, but I think it's important to look at. Fuck. It's like people just want trips to be like beautiful scenery and nature, which is definitely true, but sometimes like New York, I trip and I just feel like humanity, and sometimes humanity is beautiful, but sometimes it's really ugly. And I feel like sometimes you have to look at it. You can't deny it. So I appreciate that, remembering that. I remember with one of my first trips here, and I was like, my mission is to help people. And I'm at the fucking cathedral. I don't think I'll go in there today. I was thinking, like, did I actually fulfill that in the last 3 years? Fuck. Like, I make more money now, and I've tried to in my, I guess my parents' home country, I've tried to do nice things, and every time someone asks for help, like if they're sick, then I just give, but I can't help everyone. It's like, how do you, I mean, first you have to like help yourself before you can help other people. Oh, I'm so glad I'm wearing this mask actually, because my nose is like, my nose is hella running. Am I always giving? Like, am I proud every time? It's like also all these shops I pass by, they have mirrors. I always look at myself in it, good and bad. Now I'm just staring at other people, trying to figure out if they're just looking at themselves in the mirror or actually interested in whatever is behind it. It's like you'll see people wear things, and then it's like, damn, what I'm wearing is like nothing in comparison to that. Which makes you feel anonymous in a way, and it makes me feel more like confident in myself too, that I can do that. I made it to my favorite park in New York. This is Bryant Park, and I love how versatile it is, because in winter it turns into something totally different. There's like an ice skating rink and shops, and then in the summer it's just like this. But I like going here and contemplating my life, I guess. Like, wow, life is great. I'm so lucky to live here and be able to experience all this with all these people. The sun just feels so nice. Humans are so reliant on the sun. That just reminded me, I was watching these like National Geographic. There was one about the sun and how like a lot of ancient buildings were revolved around the sun and solstice. I just realized solstice is coming up too in September. Yeah, I've noticed the light being different, and I don't know, I really appreciate that about seasons. And just like, oh, this again, and over and over and over. Thinking back to what I thought about this whole experience, I think I didn't get as much out of it as I wanted to, or I was hoping I would. And I was like, how do I measure that? Well, I feel like very happy and content, satisfied right now, but I feel like the moments where I feel like I've got a lot out of a trip and I'm like super content and happy is when I have like released a lot. And I did get a bit emotional earlier, but there's Times Square. I've tripped here so many times now, but definitely can be a lot. There's a lot of people and a lot of simulation. I remember one time I went at like 8 p.m. on a Friday or Saturday, which is usually when it's like crazy hella people. It's like hard to even walk. And then I just remember seeing a Lion King ad. Oh, I wonder if it'll come up. I don't think it will. Anyway, there's like one Lion King thing where you're just looking at me directly into my soul, and that's what I remember most, tripping in Times Square. In New York, it's like humanity, just like this humanity, and feeling that I feel like came off like judgy before with sheltered people. It's part of me like hating who I was back then, which was very sheltered and in a bubble in a way, and how I try to like get out of that and appreciate all my experiences that have shown me, even if it's uncomfortable, like how privileged I am. But then it's like, after acknowledging it, then it's like, what can you do to help it? What am I doing, really? Whatever I'm doing may not necessarily be a net positive overall. I don't know. And I guess me saying that is also me trying to find validation. Oh God, it's so complicated. I'm just so thankful I got elevated by myself. I look so weird in the camera right now. I don't want to look at myself. I usually make these kind of video diaries for my future self and not for someone else. So addressing like these anonymous people as you guys is like really weird. But whoever is watching this, whether it's most likely gonna be me in the future who only cares about this, or other people, I hope I was insightful into how it's like to trip here in New York, and I guess insight on my life and what I'm thinking about now in September 2019. No, fuck, 2020. It's weird because I'm in this, disguise in a way, like I'm hiding. Can't wait to like get it off me, and just like be me again. I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna take this wig off. I'm gonna make a smoothie, and then I'm gonna head to my boyfriend's, and I guess we're gonna watch Mulan. That's the video, like, there were some moments in there and I try to be as genuine and honest as possible. You're probably like, wow, that was so ridiculous in this wig. I know. Okay.